The photography program here is rooted in fine art practice rather than commercial approaches to photography, and so that's an important part of its identity. When we think of photography, we're not necessarily thinking of photographs, prints that we hang on the wall. We're very much engaged with emerging technologies and the way that images are changing and being manipulated in different ways within our society. The practice of photography is engaged with a lot of important questions around things like agency and privacy, consent, control, power, surveillance, bias, race, gender, misogyny, all those kinds of interesting and important issues that are very much part of the social conversation that we're engaged with today. One of the values of coming and doing a master's degree is that sense of community and feedback, having people who are going to push you to develop your practice further. Community can be born through practice and through collaboration, for instance, through sharing resources and sharing studio space and organizing the layout of the teaching, layout of the studio space, layout of the resources to encourage students to work together and to understand what they're doing through contextualizing it amongst a peer group. We have a guest lecturing program where we have, professional artists, curators, writers come in and talk about their work. The staff in the program are all practicing artists or writers, and so they have a lot of professional experience about how you move from idea to execution to reception.
At RCA, photography as a medium in the whole spectrum of contemporary art practice, and how image making is important, or whether maybe not making the image is important. It's a conscious decision. And you look at photography in a much broader sense rather than picture making.
I was working on sort of like quite a small medium, like small prints that were becoming sort of sculptural. I'd never thought about the idea of like actions and performance, and then having sort of tutorials with like a range of different shooters as well. There was a lot of thinking and a lot of like different views, which was really helpful.
I feel like RCA gave me a safe space to do things that I wouldn't dare to do back then. It just really made me feel confident about what I'm doing. It's a safe space for me to explore and just find your own language of what photography means to you.
You got inspired by people from different disciplines all the time, and all the lectures as well. The teaching resources at RCA is really unique, I think, compared with other institutions.
I'd never really sort of printed on this scale in a darkroom before, and they were just like super encouraging and like talk about the work, and not just the technicalities of it, but actually like how it was relating to the practice.
Since I came to RCA, I have been asking myself lots of questions, like who am I and why am I doing this? These are some questions that I never asked myself before. But since I came to the RCA, I feel like I'm become more aware of what is surrounding me. I have been searching for my position in the world, and I feel like this kinds of self-awareness is really important for my works as well.
Through my teaching, I also learn together with my students, and I think that's very important. When I reflect on the students' project and the progress they're making, and I suggest certain things, I think fascinating to me is part of my practice and part of my teaching as well.
It's not the only place to end up in the gallery, but certainly that's a focal point. But we're looking to expand maybe the notion of where these kinds of practices can exist and find themselves in the world, because there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of portability for these kind of practices to infiltrate into environments, industries, sites that maybe we haven't even thought of yet.